Oh look, his name is the Fire Blaster. Man, that is threatening. No, I will escape. Singing some Panic at the Disco shit.
Probably.
Oh, for a second I thought you were singing Happy Birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to the... You're not allowed to change, by the way. You change, you're dead to us.
Oh yeah, that's also true. If you swap characters, you're disowned. Like, completely.
God damn it, I almost
Is that
killed
really
Fearless
Panic at the
Bum.
Disco?
I just assumed it was Panic at the Disco.
Yeah, I thought you were making a joke about it, but like, now that I'm hearing it, it does sound like Panic at the Disco.
Sounds like Brandon Urie. Do you think if Brandon
Just toss your
Urie
pins located there. Damn.
Do you think if Brandon Urie was late for a business meeting, he would be called Brandon Hurry?
That was pretty good.
Do you think if Brandon Urie made Indian food, he'd be called Brandon Curry?
You're stealing that from Swagger, aren't you? Or something like that.
Well, see, I can't think of anything else now. There's not a whole lot of words that...
Do you think that if Brandon Urie hurt someone and was like really felt bad about it, would he be Brandon Surrey?
It's kind of good. Oh, Do you think if Brandon Urie didn't have his contacts in, he'd be called Brandon Blurry?
Do you think that if Brandon got really upset about something, his name would be Brandon Fury?
This is such a stupid book. This is an obviously stolen joke, but it's still pretty good.
I'm not stealing any parts of it. Like, I'm stealing the beginning part, but that's like stealing a knock knock joke from The Chicken Cross the Road.
Knock knock.
Knock knock.
Was Indian? Would he eat Brandon Curry?
We already
made that joke.
It's Brandon Curry. Okay, goddammit.
Do you think if Brandon Urie had to hide a body, he'd be called Brandon Murray?
Do you think that if Brandon Urie... Oh, shut up. Do you think if Brandon Urie worked at a Dairy Queen, he'd be Brandon Flurry? Oh, it was so bad. Do you think that if Brandon Urie had a really weird obsession, he'd be Brandon Furry?
Do you think if Brandon Urie was in a horror movie, he'd be called Brandon Scurry?
Do you think that if Brandon Urie tried to run away super fast, he'd be Brandon Scurry?
These are the stupidest jokes anyone could fucking make.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm here to save you. I took a bullet for that's Will. I died for Will. Do you think if it was Brendan's bedtime, he would want a Brendan Sturry?
Do you think that if Brandon Urie was alive during World War II, it would be Brandon Nazi?
That doesn't rhyme with Urie.
Urie Nazi still ends with the E sound? Okay.
No, not even close.
Nazi.
It's supposed to be like U-R-R-Y.
Urie, Nazi, Urie, they both rhymed. Like maybe
Do you think if Brandon Urie was a furry cat, he'd be Brandon Furry?
Do you think that if Brandon Urie was a hamster, he'd be a hamster in a scurry?
What?
A Brandon in a scurry? Let's shut up.
I already used scurry.
What?
Yeah, I already used scurry. I said, do you think that if Brandon Urie was afraid and he tried to run away from something, he'd be Brandon Scurry? Will, you gotta keep up with these.
Oh, McCree's right there! There's only a select few.
That's like My Chemical Romance song.
Hey, Psyche,
If Brandon Urie went to the Antarctic, he would be called Brandon Birdie.
What?
Do you think if Brandon Do you think if Brandon Urie worked at McDonald's, he would make a Brandon
when they're
McFlurry?
told in like writing, it's like fur, you know? So it's like
Furry.
it's cool.
Oh,
Brandon Burry.
I get it. I kind of get it.
But Daniel used Brandon Burry as a berry, which worked really well.
I think I'd use Burry twice. I was like, you think if Brandon had died of body, he would be Brandon Burry?
Oh yeah, that one too. That was alright too.
Nice job on objective time. Okay, I'm gonna stop though. These are really stupid jokes. But like, once you start them, you can't really stop.
Dale, these
How
3
many
bullet
McCrees we
holes
got?
are wanted dead or alive.
I'm gonna use my quote. I'm not stupid enough to fight you head on, but I'm crazy enough to try.
What is that from?
I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I'm telling you, I did not take it for anything. I swear to God.
I know that I'm not stupid enough to do this, but I sure am crazy enough or something like that. That's from something.
Bunny Della. You think if Barack Obama was a terrorist, he'd be called Barack Osama? Okay, I'm done. Oh, that's.
Do you think that if Barack Obama lived in the
the
Alps, then he'd be Barack Obama?
Do you think if Barack Obama had 2 humps, he'd be called Barack Obama?
Those are camels.
Yeah, 2. I said, do you think if Barack Obama had 2 humps, he'd be called Barack Obama?
Those are camels.
Wait, oh, what's a llama? Oh, I see where I messed up now. I was like, wait, that's right. What are you talking about?
I'm like, those are camels, and you're like, no, if you listen to what I said.
Do you think if Samuel L. Jackson had 2 humps, he'd be called Samuel L. Jackson?
There you go.
That's actually Samuel. I want to see
Do you
that.
think that if
Someone...
Samuel L. Jackson was a weed whacker, he'd be Samuel L. Waxon?
Do you think if Samuel L. Jackson was tired, he'd be Samuel L. Nappin? Do you think if Samuel L. Jackson needed to wipe his face, he'd be Samuel L. Napkin? Do you think if Samuel L. Jackson got beat his kids, he'd be Samuel L. Whackin? Do you think if Samuel L. Jackson beat his wife, he'd be Samuel L. Smackin? Okay, I'm done now.
How are you coming up with these so fast?
I just keep thinking of domestic abuse and things that rhyme with that.
Do you think that if McCree went to a chiropractor, he'd be, I don't know, back bang? I don't know. I'm trying to think of
Do you think if McCree ran away from something, he'd be McFlea?
Do you think that if Hollywood stopped thinking what they could do and stopped thinking what they would do, then they'd be, I don't know, what they would do and started thinking what they could do, then they'd be Holly could?
You ruined everything, you motherfuckers! Oh, that's my tumbleweed. Do you think if McCree was a homunculus, he'd be called McGreed?
Do you think that if Symmetra was Gambler, then she'd be Betra?
Do you think if you had just barely met Symmetra, she'd be Symmetria? I mean, that's not. Kind of that kind of ruins. Do you think if I was a cat and Symmetra is my owner, she'd be Sapetria? Do you think if I was a furry? No. Where are you going, Reaper? Aw, Reaper, why'd you do that? Why'd you gotta ruin it for me? Do you think if Widowmaker lived in a bakery, she'd be a widow baker? Do you think if Widowmaker bought a shake weight, she'd be a widow shaker? Do you think if Widowmaker watched basketball, she'd be a widow laker? Oh, come on, you were hiding in the corner. That's bullshit, man. People who use the default Reaper skin are bad people. Like, Like, it's... Do you think if the Joker was a gambler, he'd be called the Poker?
Do you think that if Reaper liked to stalk people, then he'd be the Peeper?
Do you think if the Joker was having problems with his wife, he'd be called the Choker?
Do you think that if Joker had some really bad anxiety and turned to cigarettes, and he'd be the Smoker?
Wasn't there one for Torbjorn, but he can't really?
Did what for Torb?
Do you think if Mercy liked Thomas the Tank Engine, then she would be Percy? No, that one doesn't really work.
I thought it was funny though.
Do you think if Sombra worked in a theater, she'd be Opera? No.
Do you think if Jamba Juice was a? Do you think if Jamba Juice was a time bomb, that it would be Jamba Fuse?
Do you think if Jamba Juice was ran by a psychopathic husband, it'd be called Jamba Abuse? Leave me alone, bang.
Do you think that if Jamba Juice let out a bunch of stray animals, then it would be Jamba Loose?
Do you think if Jamba Juice had a suicide problem, it'd be called Jamba Noose?
But
Do you think if Jamba Juice had a bunch of depressed slaves, it'd be called Jamba Blues?
Do you think that if Jamba Juice became a detective agency, it would be Jamba Clues?
Gosh dang it. Do you think if James Bond liked to go fishing, he'd be called James Pond? Do you think if James Bond... Oh, god damn it, there's already a... Fuck. Do you think if James Bond bleached his hair, he'd be called James Blonde? Do you think if James Bond agreed with me, he would pull a James nod? Okay, these jokes just... Okay, I'm done. My head hurts.
Those were pretty bad.
Yeah, they were good up until, I would say, the end of the Jamba Juice is when they got really bad. Samuel Jackson ones are pretty good. Oh my gosh, I'm so freaking tired.
Do you think that if Jamba Juice was at the back of a train, it'd be Jamba Caboose? I just got a young Genji skin, which I didn't have before.
You didn't have that?
No.
Oh, I thought you had all the Genji skins.
No. I didn't have like any, like way back when I was a Genji main, I literally didn't have any.
You only used the one,
the Chrome, no, not Chrome.
Don't we use Doomfist?
Yeah.
He's on
or
this
Rissa.
Map. Doomfist.
Join us.
Do you think if Pac-Man used cheats, he'd be called a Hackman?
Only through conflict.
You think if May was a normal person, you know what? I can't.
Do you think if Palpatine saw the future and called everything that you do, then he'd say knew it?
Wait, I forgot. Isn't the delayed thing? I forgot. Wasn't that like about the game being delayed or something?
No, that's about that studio not ever putting stuff out on time.
Irvine?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
California.
Oh, so they were always late with their shit, and so they mocked them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
That's why it's delayed.
I have a feeling that they're gonna have a really scummy team.
Yeah, like our 3 Mays.
Yeah, that's
or like the
mostly
6 Symmetras last game. Oh, it's Torbs.
Oh,
this
God,
was literally what like the beginning of Overwatch was like.
Did you steal that health back? He did. Granny Pans.
Do you think that if Granny Pans had really nice shoes, then she'd be Granny Vans?
Oh, everyone's going fast. Do you think if Dog with a Blog owned a pig, it'd be Dog with a Hog?
The battle goes on.
That dog died. I found this out like a little while ago, and I actually got sad.
Do you think
like,
that if do you think that if Overwatch's change hero screen ran a Greek restaurant, then it'd be changed Gyro? Gyro. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I think it's pronounced gyro, but
Or gyro.
I really hate it. Like that Greek food, like gyros are the weirdest freaking thing.
It is gyro. It's like it's a chicken wrap. It's like no, it's gyro.
Hey gyro, are you kidding me? You can't make that jump. Where are you
What
at?
jump?
Oh, you died.
I died. What jump can't you make?
You died. This jump, or maybe I just didn't make it good enough from that bridge to this. I didn't make that jump. Okay, I was pretty sure it was possible.
Yeah.
I'm scared to go out there, man. It's like Vietnam.
There's nothing out here.
Screw
They're in
it.
the trees. There's one in here. Get him. He didn't put down a turret yet. And yep, I didn't have a reinforcement.
I was behind a tree. I
You
like
think that
trees.
if a tree produced honey, then it would be a bee?
You think if trees had a, you know, it's not even funny. It's just obvious.
Do you think that if trees tried to run a
You think if
music
trees
club,
had
then they'd be the
dicks,
Glee?
called bees?
What? Do you think that if trees tried to have a music club, then they'd be called Glee?
Do you think if Irwin... You know, I couldn't even keep it together. Because after he said Irwin, I just thought, hey, Mandy.
Do you think that if Erwin went to school, then he'd be learning?
Do you think if Irwin went to Germany, he would visit Berlin? You know how hard I have to have faith for that?
If he'd visit Germany, then he would be Berlin.
Just what I needed.
Berlin.
Molten. See,
With cardiac arrest.
my plan here with Doomfist is to just lure Torbs back here like a stranger with candy, and then punch him off the edge.
So you're a rapist. I'm almost there. He's at Reaper's after me. You have to take him down.
Boom! Just like that.
I need his health back. I'm at 28. Oh, you got him.
Yeah. I'm good at this game.
Do you think
Especially
if
as Doomfist.
Quagmire went on a camping trip, he'd make a Quagfire?
Meteor strike.
There are 3 turrets on point. Do you think that if Molten Core was really annoying, it was just like super monotone, that would be Molten Boar?
Do you think if Torb got yelled at his mom, then he would have to do some Molten chores? Do you think if Torb...
Do you think that if Torb wrote a
slept
story,
really
then he'd be
loud?
Molten Lore?
Do you think if Torb's wife slept with another man, that she'd be a molten whore? Do you think when Torb sleeps that he might molten snore? Do you know?
Panties.
Granny Panty. Wait, is that Granny Panties?
Yeah.
No. That's it.
This is play.
Putting
This
images
is
in
play
my
the
head, I
game.
really wish.
This is the game.
Wow.
This is play.
This is Torb's skill. Sad thing is he should have been able to kill her.